Good evening, everybody. The time has come for the Monday, July 7th, 2025, regular City Council meeting. We will begin the roll call in 2 seconds. Oh, my goodness. Thank you.
Alderman Martinez,
Present.
Felix,
Present.
Newsome,
Present.
Turner,
Present.
Donalworth,
Present.
Florian,
Present.
Hayes, absent, Bolton,
Present.
Guzman, absent, Mayor Cunningham.
Present.
You have a quorum, Mayor.
We have a quorum. Would you please come to the podium and lead us in prayer?
Amen. Let's pray together. Father, we come in the name of Jesus, and we thank you, God, for the fact that you are a powerful and an awesome God, Lord. And Father, we need you now like never before. We need you in Waukegan. We need your presence in the world. So we thank you, Lord, and thank you for Waukegan, the city of Waukegan, with a lot of possibilities, Lord. We thank you for it, God. Thank you for our mayor and our aldermen and the staff who serve faithfully. We thank you for them, Lord. And we thank you for the power of prayer, God, because it is through prayer you can change things. You can open doors that nobody else can close. So we thank you for that, Lord. I pray for unity, God, more than anything else, that we would realize that we are better together than anything else, Lord. I think about just the 4th of July and that weekend and the Declaration of Independence. It gives us the essence of why we're here. And primarily, Lord, it's about life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, Lord. And so I'm praying for Waukegan. I'm praying for our leaders, and I'm praying for our city, and I'm praying, God, that your presence will be here like never before, Lord. And God, I think about King David as he prayed this prayer in Psalms 18, verse 1, 2, 3. He prayed it every time he had a victory. He was victorious over his enemy. He would pray this prayer, 3 verses. He says this, and I'm praying this prayer over our leaders, over our mayor, over our city, and over the resident. He says this, David, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield, the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. I call to the Lord, who is worthy of praise, and I have been saved from my enemy." So we pray, God, today that you would bless our time together, Lord. In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit, I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Odom. Please all rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 1C, Mayor's comments. First, I'd like to acknowledge the Waukegan Police, Waukegan Fire, Public Works, our water plant, Lakefront Coordinator, Miss Lisa May, and Beach Rangers, and especially our CERT team and the PR department for the greatest 4th of July fireworks last week. It was amazing to see so many people out. At our Harbor Beach in downtown, having a wonderful time and celebration of Independence Day. The fireworks show was second to none, and we are already talking about next year, David. I want to give a shout out to the Waukegan Park District on last week's Independence Parade. Thank you to council members, city staff who marched with us. We all had a blast handing out squeeze stars, patriotic wristbands, and candies, as well as celebrating this annual event with our community. I also like to share with everyone a few snippets from a communication received from communication from Vista sent to our office last week. During the recent period of extreme heat, Vista did experience temporary air circulation challenges that, per them, did not affect patient care. The hospital also has applied for the safety net hospital status, which will help expand access to care across Lake County through new providers, education programs, and community partners. Next, a big attaboy goes out to our Waukegan Animal Control, who has achieved a 90% save rate for the 2024 earning recognition from Best Friends Animal Society as a no-kill shelter, highlighting the city's compassion and leadership in animal welfare. Although 90% by definition is a number, organizations that achieve and maintain no-kill are made up of people who never forget that each fraction of those percentage points represent a life saved. These numbers represent cherished family members who are only alive because their dedication and hard work. This award celebrates Waukegan Animal Control dedication, leadership, and incredible milestone reached on behalf of animals we all love. Waukegan and, I'm gonna make sure I pronounce this right, Mikazaki City, Japan, established sister city relationship in 1990. Mikazaki is the capital of Mikazaki Prefecture on the island of Kyushu and is known for its coastal location, science views, and reputation as a resort destination. This August, a delegation of dignitaries and middle school students from Japan will visit Waukegan as part of our ongoing cultural and educational exchange. We are currently seeking local host families to welcome these visiting students and help create meaningful, lasting connections. Hosting is a unique opportunity to share our community's hospitality while experiencing the power of cultural exchange right at home. These shared experiences foster understanding, build lifelong friendship, and strengthen the global bonds between our city. If you're interested in becoming a host family, we encourage you to take part in this special tradition of international goodwill. Please call 847-599-2525. Again, 847-599-2525. Scoop rolls into downtown Waukegan on July the 11th and 12th with cool cars, great food, live entertainment. Enjoy Open Scoop at 5 p.m., live performance by the Blues Family Robertson and 13 Tiki at 6. Don't miss classic and custom cars on Saturday, free cruise in and park with music by DJ Spontaneous, American Indian Tent Achilles, the Crank Master, Soul Message Band, and Tim Spinning Schoomer, with gospel on the beach and more starting at noon. Check out scoopwaukegan.com for more information. I want to make sure to personally invite the alderman, city clerk, treasurer to Scoop kickoff ribbon cutting on Friday at 5 p.m. at Genesee and Water. And please let anyone else you know, particularly our other partners from the county, state, and national leaders. As many of you are aware, not that one. Okay, all right. Arise, located at 115 South Genesee Street, 305, will be having a jazz, let me make sure I say it correctly. Did I put it in here? Jazz Night, Arise, located at 115 South Genesee Street at Suite 304, Waukegan, Illinois. And that is the old family piano location. That's where that's at, everybody. It's Miss Brooks. She will have that. We have the St. Demetrius Waukegan Greek Festival will take place July 11th through the 13th from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 1400 North O'Plain Road in Waukegan in the 9th Ward. Free admission, parking, and great, great, great food if you like Greek food. I know I do. I want to be sure to let everyone know that I intend on, this came up, I don't know where it came from, but to the alderman, I think there was a write-up on this thing about nightclubs. Let me give you my history of the nightclub. The nightclub designation, normally you would have to go to a CUP. For those CUPs, conditional use permit. I think on March 4th, 2024, it became an endorsement. Don't know where that came from. I know we went to that CUP process because Waukegan didn't want any nightclubs. You know, from when I started in 1999 as an alderman all the way through, nightclubs just wasn't our thing. If I can remember, there was only one place that had a nightclub designation that went through the CUP. I want to make sure I say that Red Iguana. So Red Iguana was the only one who had that designation. We, the city, through the different mayors, just didn't want it. It just brought too many problems. I think at one point, the Red Iguana wanted a 3 o'clock license. We said no, because that brought in everybody else's problem throughout the county to Waukegan. So where this thing came out about a nightclub, and especially I had given someone, when I became mayor, that was false. There was only one endorsement that was given, and that name was given to La Cantina. That was issued, that designation was issued, I think around March 2025. But the endorsement itself was passed by council March the 4th, 2024. With that being said, I just want to be very, very clear on this. I want everyone to know I'm looking at eliminating this nightclub classification. One, we don't need it in Waukegan, and it gives a real negative feeling to those who think they may have it. I'm going to be reaching out to the cantina, and it's like, you don't even need it. So, in my opinion. So I want to be very clear on that. I know, Alderman Florine, you had concerns about it. That's my feeling on it. It sounds like that's your feeling on it. And it sounds like collectively, the alderman, that's all of our feelings. We don't want the nightclub, don't need it. I personally, I say we just even take it out of the endorsement, because as long as I'm here, and I think with we're not going to be doing it here, not with me. So I want to get that out there and let everybody know. And I think the various accomplishments as we move forward with things like this and initiatives just reflect the ongoing efforts to rebuild Waukegan into a safer, healthier, and more caring community. There's one more, and these are announcements that were given to me. Our Waukegan Library, our Waukegan Public Library, are inviting Youth and Teen Services Department ribbon cutting. So everybody, you are invited to the Youth and Teen Services Department ribbon cutting July the 30th from 3 to 6. That's on a Wednesday. All right. Last but not least, we have, is Mr. Pettis here? Mr. Pettis is here. Mr. Pettis, why don't you come to the podium? We've been having a lot of confusion as relates to adhering to the established recycling guidelines. I'm going to ask Mr. Pettis to come up because I think he's working with LRS to help educate both English and in Spanish, and then work with SWALCO to help out, educate on outreach and program. Mr. Pettis, can you help us? Can you go ahead, sir?
Yeah, so good evening, Council. So my name is Frank Pettis. I'm a Waukeganite. I'm the founder of Greenlit Solutions, LLC, and I'm really excited to be working with SWALCO, the Solid Waste Agency of Lake County, on this recycling education and outreach grant through the Metro Mayor's Caucus, right? So, you know, we've been hearing reports about contamination in the recycling stream for months now, right? And we all know it's really important to recycle, right? It reduces the amount of plastic in our oceans, helps save trees, reduces air pollution, right? But we also know that recycling rules change per hauler, right? And they change from time to time. They change per municipality, right? So this is an effort just to meet residents where they are, right? To work with residents to make sure that the information about the current rules with recycling are as clear and concise as possible, that they're translated, right, to fit the cultural needs for our largely Spanish-speaking community. And SWALCO has been a great partner in this. We're also working with LRS. We had several really good conversations with garbage drivers and haulers last week and saw kind of the nature of contamination. And we're hoping that just through trying to meet people where they are, doing some bin monitoring and some cart tagging efforts, that we will reduce the amount of contamination, right, and help spread the word about why it's important to recycle. So thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
All right, thank you, Frank. And the questions, Frank, is there a contact number there if anybody wants to call you?
Yeah.
Or call a place to get those questions answered?
Yeah. So any personal questions to me, right? I'm kind of the conduit between LRS, SWALCO, and some of the municipalities. And by the way, we're working not just across Waukegan, but Waukegan, North Chicago, and Zion, right? And you can reach me at FR Pettis, my last name, P as in Paul, ETTIS, @gmail.com. Cool. Yeah, and phone number is it's my personal line, so I don't know if I should say it now. But I
Tell you what, why don't you call why don't you just call the special events 847-599-2525. That's our public relations, and we'll get a message over to him, so we don't have any that going on. All right. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate.
Thank you.
So item 2, resolutions, presentations, appointments. So we have 3 appointments. Alderman, I assume that you did get all of the resumes of those being appointed tonight. I do want to clear up something that was brought to my attention. I'm going to be asking the city clerk to make sure that the aldermen get a copy of the dates and the dates of the various commissions that are out there, so you will have them. With that being said, so as you see these dates coming up, and some of these individuals might be falling off, or some just resign, as we have in the P&Z, I'm going to be asking you, as I do, reach out into the community and let me know if there's somebody who's interested in serving on the various boards. Okay, so it's very, very important that we keep these very important boards filled, and we want to keep them filled with just regular citizens who give their opinion about the movement of our city. All right, thank you. I want to thank you, Alderman Turner, for bringing that to my attention. And with that being said, for tonight, we have a resolution appointing Mr. Brandon Ewing to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission to fill a term expiring 12/31/2026. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
A motion by Alderman Turner.
Second.
Second by Alderman Felix. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez,
Aye.
Felix,
Aye.
Newsom, Turner,
Aye.
Donaldworth,
Aye.
Florian,
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Motion passed, Mayor.
And I'll ask all of them to stand once we complete it with all of the appointments. Thank you. Resolution appointing Dylan Shepard to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission to fill the term expiring on 12/31/2025. Can I get a motion?
So move.
Motion by Alderman Martinez.
Second.
Second by Alderman Donaldworth. I apologize, Alderman Donaldworth. Alderman Donaldworth, any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix,
Aye.
Newsom,
Aye.
Turner,
Aye.
Donaldworth,
Aye.
Florian,
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Motion is passed and carried. Item 2C, resolution appointing Amy Carlos to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission to be filled, to fill a term expiring in 12/31/2025. Any motion?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian,
I'll second.
second by Alderman Bolton. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix,
Aye.
Newsom,
Aye.
Turner,
Aye.
Donaldworth,
Aye.
Florian,
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Motion is passed and carried. Can all three of the appointees stand up, please? All right, Mr. Brandon Ewing, how you doing, sir? Dylan Shepard and Miss Amy Carlos. Thank you. Thank you very much for serving. I get ready. There's a full agenda. They're ready for you. Is that right, Nicole? Absolutely right. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Item number 3, audience time. Audience time.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm waiting for the list from Mr. Motley. Waiting for the list from Mr. Motley.
Mr.
Sorry, my mic's going off. Waiting for the list.
Mr. Acting Clerk, how you?
You'll have 3 minutes to speak, and when I call your name, I'm going to ask you to please line up on the east side of the room. I'm going to call the first 5 names: Ephraim Heredia, Rayon Edwards, Andrea Moore, Floria Monroe, and Clyde McLemore. Ephraim Heredia, Rayon Edwards, Andrea Moore, Floria Monroe, and Clyde McLemore. Minutes to speak, and your time will begin.
1 second. Everyone, when you do speak, please speak to the dais. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mayor, how apropos that you, at the beginning of the meeting, you brought up the fireworks show, 4th of July, the great fireworks. But let's talk, as a lifelong resident of Waukegan, let's talk about something else in regards to fireworks. The fireworks down at the lake were not the only fireworks going off in the city last Friday night, okay? I personally witnessed fireworks going off, not on a side street, not in a park, but in the middle of Ridgeland Avenue by North, Ridgeland and North. Fireworks being set out in the middle of the street, firing off. It's a miracle that cars that were driving down Ridgeland Avenue, that somebody didn't get hurt. This went on for 45 minutes. I called 911. Of course, the answer I got was a lot of the police resources, and I understand it, are all down at the lakefront. Mayor, this was less than 200 yards away from your mom's house, a county board member. I have videos I'm willing to share with you. The people that are doing these illegal fireworks out in the city of Waukegan, and it's getting worse every year, they have no fear. There's no repercussions. The city needs to take a look at this, a serious look, before next year's 4th of July, which falls on a Saturday night. I understand that there's resources that need to be for our fireworks down at the lakefront, but we can't put everybody down there. There's more people in the city of Waukegan that need those services outside of the lakefront. Okay? I will be back before the 4th of July next year, and hopefully the police department has a plan in order to address this situation. Because it's gotten to be ridiculous. It's a joke. I have an autistic daughter whose bedroom window is right by there. 45 minutes going on, no police response other than they're handling the lakefront. But what's ironic is less than 7 minutes or 7 hours later, at 7 o'clock that morning, down on Ridgeland and Jackson, we had 4 Waukegan police officers doing seatbelt checks. I understand grant money pays for that, but there are resources for 4 officers less than 7 hours later being put there for seatbelt checks. Priorities. I'm holding everybody on this council accountable to look at this and take it seriously. My alderman was aware about it. He was aware about it that night. I shared it with him. I shared the videos with him. Thank you.
Mr. Edwards?
Good evening, council. My name is Rayon Edwards. Mayor, I'm glad you brought up the hospital. So we're going to talk about the hospital. I remember when Julian Towers owed money on their water bill, we were threatening to cut their hot water off. But this hospital owed us over $200-some thousand for water, and the city ain't done nothing. Aside from the water, $1.3 million in property taxes. I want to know what's going on because, see, I'm watching and I'm paying attention, and I see Kim Needham is now in charge, a CEO. Whether she qualified or not is not my business, but I know about 3, 4 owners then came and took over this hospital, and all of them passed her by. And so as me and my team doing our research, we wondering why. If she this good, if she this qualified, and she's from Waukegan, why haven't we been put her as CEO? Then I got to doing my research, and I seen who her husband was, know what he used to be, and I know he got good friends here. I hope we are not using political pressure to stay from putting pressure on this hospital, because we're talking about offering services. Have you been there lately? Have you been there at nighttime? It looked like a ghost town. It smelled like a piss mat as soon as you walk up in there. I got a friend right now that's sitting at home with an IV still in her arm, suing them because they didn't give her proper service. They are not serving this community the right way, and we are in danger. I feel bad if a pandemic happened, because what is the community going to do with this hospital? When the air went out, they was moving residents up out of there. I got video. I watched it, and they were searching other hospitals. I got calls from other nurses, because, see, I was a part of this in the beginning, so they know me. They was calling me from other places, Condell. Lake Forest called. We were trying to get people there, but guess what? They was going through the same thing with the air. Now let's talk about this nightclub status, because I hear we keep talking about it, but we're talking about entertainment. What do that look like? Is any one of y'all gonna give us a definition of it? Because we so quick to do something, we ain't sat down, we ain't thought about it. We ain't brought those residents that stay upstairs from those nightclubs here to have a conversation with them. We ain't set them down with the business owners and the staff to see what this look like, how it's gonna look. But we're just rushing to do things. It's admirable that y'all putting people on these boards, but let's make sure the people we putting on there is qualified to do the job that we need them to do. Because putting unqualified people on a board ain't gonna make no difference. And I see we steady giving out money. What about my kids in Waukegan? Because ain't nobody giving them none. None. They went on a field trip none this year. 0. I want this council to get ready, and I'm putting all of y'all on notice. I'm fit to kick off a series of Facebook Live, so get ready.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Ms. Moore?
Hello, Council. I am, as the mayor said, a regular citizen with an opinion and insight regarding the movement of the city of Waukegan. I am also a housing justice advocate. I have been for approximately the past 5 years. Some things that I wanted to point out that I see that are taking place that are it's just really uncalled for and problematic. One would be the ununiform placement of parking citations on Hill Street or even South Avenue by our department, our police department. One of them being parking, due to the no parking ordinance, one would be parking 15 feet within a fire hydrant. Since the rehabilitation of the Barwell property, Hill Street has now become available again. So if Hill Street goes from one side of South Avenue to the other, they're only particularly worried about one of the fire hydrants, but not the parking spaces that are now in front of the newly rehabilitated, property. That that street is a public street. There are literally designated parking spots by way of the owners, allowing people to park 15 feet within a fire hydrant. But when you do it on South Avenue and Hill, the police will ticket you, but they don't ticket up and down the entire Hill Street. I don't know why, but I have my theories. It shouldn't take place. Secondly, following up with Mr. Edwards, the city, has a duty to appoint officials, whether that be commissioners or trustees. The council should make sure that training is taking place. At some point, it needs to come back where we're passing it over to the clerk, certification that our trustees are knowledgeable of what they're supposed to be doing. They are literally the persons that make sure the entity, whatever board, is financial and legally responsible. How can they do that when they aren't being trained or being certified? I can tell you, I know from my own experience, the Housing Authority board members now, HUD mandates that they are certified. There's no record of such, that they have done it, completed. The trustees of the library, same difference. And it's just so important, and it should be something that is easily accessible and also, again, checked on by the city itself. If you're appointing these persons, you want to make sure that they're, being able to adequately give serve their dutiful obligation. I recently have come into meeting some amazing tenants that are located at the Ravine Terrace location. This is the third or fourth site that the Housing Authority has gone through to rehab finally, right? They were dilapidated, they needed change, all these things. Unfortunately, as I've said numerous times here, the tenants are not being considered. Their rights are being violated. There are mice, cockroaches, bed bugs, right now, currently, at the Ravine Terrace location.
Thank you. Ms. Monroe?
Hello. Yes, I would like to know, how is it that the Bear Development and Waukegan Housing Authorities can satisfy grant applications and city zoning changes, but doesn't honor the residents' rights? The city should not support businesses that don't support Waukegan citizens. Ravine Terrace tenants are being denied decent, safe, and sanitary living conditions. Not once have we been consulted or have our complaints resolved. I was moved to a studio apartment, but I am being charged for a one-bedroom unit. I would like to know what support will we get from the city council, because I feel that this is not fair. I never heard of anyone paying for a one-bedroom that living in the studio apartment, the one-bedroom price. I currently moved here like 7 years ago from Orlando, Florida, and I moved to this town thinking that seniors would be treated fairly. But as I've been living here and I found out where I live, we are not being treated fairly. And I understand that they're doing construction work and everything. There's no way around that. But the thing about it, they should have consulted us to let us know what's going on and have us to decide where we want to move, not just put us on any floor anywhere. And I recently received my letter. We moving in August. So I was put on the side with garbage dumpsters, trucks, and I feel that that's not fair, because I feel that I should have had to say so and what apartment that I was going to move in. So again, I say, it's not fair, and I would like to know what you all going to do about this, since you all are in authority, the mayor, you guys got authority to do something about it. So, again, thank you very much for listening to my concern, and that's a concern I have because it's not fair for us seniors who have been working all our lives, contributing to society financially, and now it's time for you guys to contribute to us, to do right by us. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Thank you, Ms. Monroe. Mr. Clyde McLemore.
As Clyde come, building commissioner, can you get with those young ladies? Young ladies, can you see the building commissioner outside? Please get their name and number. We get in contact with you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Clyde. Appreciate it.
Good evening, council. How y'all doing? Good evening, mayor. I want to say, First Ward, I happen to be a property owner, and when I came over there on the First Ward, I noticed that there was holes all on the grass where they was doing the piping from the last administration. And I was going to come up here and complain, but then I noticed they've been out there working on it and getting it done. And I want to thank the city for getting on top of that because it didn't look right, but I see that they did get out there and work. Thank you, Ms. Alderman Bowling, because I'm sure you had something to do with that to make Southside look a little bit better. Also, I want to talk about the homeless situation. It is, I don't know what we could do, man. I have a resource center where I try to send people to different resources, but all monies is allocated out. Pads is not, I don't know if we could get this hotel finally open over here that they got permit for last year. If we can get this open, because I mean, it's really bad with this homeless situation, because we got women out here with children that's, homeless. And I just really wanted to put that out there, I know it ain't nothing that y'all can run and do right now, because I'm trying my best to, keep it doing. But I wanted to put that out there. Also, y'all know August is Black Business, celebrate your black businesses in August. So, this is our Black Lives Matter fourth year of doing the Black Business Expo. We're going to do it at the bowling alley where we've been doing it at Bertrand Bowling Alley. Where it'll be free bowling for the children. Come out, support, spend a few dollars and go bowl with your children, make it a family day. Also, Black Lives Matter is going to be giving away free, full backpacks, to all the students, all the kids that come, free full ones. I know y'all probably go somewhere else, but if you miss out on the other backpack giveaways, you can come over there and get your backpack giveaway. That would be August 23rd, 2025 from 1 to 5. We're still looking for some vendors. So, if you know somebody got a business and want to come out, or a 501c3 and want to talk about their business, they can contact me, or they can contact Samaria at 224-806-7748. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. McLemore. The next 5, Claire Quinn, Lakeisha Robinson, Brandon Ewing, Mark Drobnik, and Margaret Carrasco. You'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Claire Quinn, and I'm the Youth and Teen Services Manager at Waukegan Public Library. We are delighted to share that the library's Youth and Teen Services Department renovation is complete. This space has been thoughtfully designed to inspire learning, creative exploration, and new ways to connect the young people in our community. Please join us for a ribbon cutting on Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, from 3 to 6 p.m. This renovation was made possible through funding from the Illinois State Library, a department of the Office of the Secretary of State, using public library construction grant funds. We are deeply grateful to Product Architecture and Design and Bowler Construction for helping bring this vision to life. We would also like to extend our sincere thanks to the generous sponsors who made key features of this space possible. Consumers Credit Union for sponsoring the Nature Lab, Great Lakes Credit Union for sponsoring Study Room B, Friends of the Waukegan Public Library and the Waukegan Public Library Foundation for sponsoring the Reading Nook. We look forward to celebrating this exciting milestone with you and sharing the new spaces and services that the library has to offer for all ages. Invitations for the event are located on the table across from the elevator. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to have Ms. Robbins.
Hey, y'all. I am a local tenant organizer. Bowell has a problem with parking. Tenants are being denied parking, and which leads to them parking on South and Hill. With that comes tickets. Also, armed security barricaded tenants on the property without notice on the 4th of July. I am sick of Waukegan Police Department coming on the property harassing my partner, Andrea Moore. Relocation problem started with Barwell. I reached out to you when the RAD project first kicked off. The reason why ain't enough police officer covering areas is because they busy at my home harassing Andrea Moore. They pull up at least 3 to 4 cars deep when there is no crime being committed. If you like, follow my eviction case, 2023 EV 00002012.
Thank you. Brandon Ewing.
All right. Good evening, Mayor Cunningham, members of the City Council, and everyone here tonight. First, I want to express my sincere thanks for appointing me to the Planning and Zoning Commission. It's truly an honor to serve the City of Waukegan in this capacity, and I'm committed to working hard to support smart growth and equitable development in our community. I also want to take a moment to thank you for the incredible support of this year's Juneteenth celebration. It was nothing short of amazing to see over 3,000 people fill downtown Waukegan, celebrating peacefully, joyfully, and proudly. It was dope to witness our community come together like that in the heart of the city. From the events department to marketing and building and permits, especially Waukegan Public Works for the behind-the-scenes efforts, they ensured everything ran smoothly. Their coordination, communication, and commitment to the community made all the difference. I want to give a shout out to the Waukegan Police Department. We're often quick to speak up when things go wrong, but today I want to say thank you because things went right. Our police showed up, they supported the event, they engaged with the community, and it was awesome to see. And so to our mayor, Sam Cunningham, thank you for your leadership, support, and belief in this event. Your dedication to building back Waukegan is about more than words, it's about action, and this festival was a reflection of that vision. I want to give a sincere thank you to our Waukegan City Council and Aldermen. Many of you actually participated in the parade, so thank you for coming out. And we're proud to work together for the good of the people. When the city stands behind events like Juneteenth, it sends a powerful message that we see and celebrate the diversity and unity of Waukegan. I'm proud to be a part of that. Thank you again for the opportunity to serve and continue to support the momentum in this city. And so I got Carlos here, who was a part of the committee with me, and then after my comments, I'm going to give the mayor his shirt since he wasn't able to get it on the day, but we appreciate all the support, Mayor, and thank you all again for your support of Juneteenth. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mark Drobnik. You're signed up for audience time? Yep, Mr. Mark Drobnik.
Catching up with me now. You know, I don't know if I'm gonna do this in 3 minutes, but I'll put it in writing if I miss stuff. I'm sorry, what? Oh, okay, excuse me. Well, it's nice to see some familiar faces up here. That's always a good feeling. My name is Mark, some of you know me. I got a little title on here, really what it's about are the tree ordinance. I have an analogy to taxi cabs and business licensees, people licensed to do business in general. But the thing I wanted to say first is I was, not too long ago, there was a Black Lives Matter social hosted by Clyde McLemore. And trustee Jeff McBride was there, and we sat at the same table, and he had a question for me. He said, Mark, how young are you? We used a little bit different words, but that was the question. And I was surprised. I didn't know exactly what to say to him because I thought he knew the answer to that. And I got to thinking about that, and I thought, well, okay, I'm born at Victory. I've been here most of my life. I went to Waukegan High School. And junior year, we had 1,012 students in our class. And I was a serious student. I ended up going to medical school and law school once I finished college. My rank at that time was 17 out of 1,012. So I had pretty good grades. And, but I got to thinking, there's a Waukegan city attorney in my class, and there's one of your former mayors in my class. So that's the answer to Jeff McBride's question. Same age as those guys. One's a basketball player, another one pretty athletic guy too. This thing is long. You know, when somebody else's time, just tell me, and like I said, I'll put it in writing. The thing I want to say is over at my house on Poplar, you know, we lived in Puerto Rico. My wife's born and raised in Puerto Rico. We bought a home up there next to Clark School, so our kids would go to school there. And we seem to have this recurring problem. The latest thing is the tree ordinance. We had a raccoon and a squirrel up in our attic, and the roof guy said, you know, take care of the tree that they're using as a ladder first. And this just blew into a complicated thing. I don't understand it, because I understand pretty well how Waukegan works, because I'm here most of my life. And this is why I'm here. They gave me a letter that said by July 13th, pay a fine of hundreds of dollars, certain amount of money. These people are all business licensees, licensed by the city of Waukegan, and the letter seems to be saying that I'm principally responsible for their negligence. By the way, the west end of this building used to be Drobnik property, 415 Madison Street, and this is where I spent many years working with my dad, who I lived 30 years.
Thank you, Mr. Drobnik.
Same roof as a lawyer.
Thank you.
And just saying. Thank you for your time. I'll put the rest in writing. Thank you very much.
If you have written comments, you can submit them to our office too, Mr.
I'm sorry, I
Drobnik.
don't hear what.
If you would like to submit your written comments, if you have them ready, we can take them for the record.
Definitely. Should I approach the bench?
We can take your written comments for the record. If you have them available, we can put them in the record. I can give you my email, and I can give you my email, and you can send them to us, okay?
It's on the website for everybody.
Yeah, it is, yes, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Nice to see you. Miss Margaret Carrasco.
Tonight, my words are directed towards legal counsel, Attorney Costado, who's present tonight. Okay. Sir, I will be submitting to you tomorrow morning 2 ethics complaints against 7th Ward Lynn Florian. The first one is regarding her statement of economic interest, of which I have copies here of each year that she's filed. In addition, I will be submitting a FOIA request of any and all payments made out to Lynn Florian or to her business, Florian Chiropractic Center. As you well know, beginning January 1st, 1994, persons required to submit a statement of economic interest includes all elected officials, and in which it states who has authority to authorize expenditure of public funds, execute contracts, issue licenses, and permits. The Illinois Attorney General has ruled that lists of required filers must be certified by the local unit of government, which is the clerk's office, and which I have. Okay. The thing is that number 4 in the statement of economic interest, in which you're supposed to list monies, okay, and the nature of contractual services. And on each one of the economic statements filed by Alderman Lynn Florian, she stated none. However, according to city employees, they claim that they have received services by Alderman Lynn Florian or her chiropractic service from her business. She's here every single meeting voting and approving payments Isn't that not a conflict of interest? Okay. The next thing is that I received a phone call this week in which individuals stated, I was not present, they were present, that residents are being invited by her and her team last Monday at Lakehurst Banquets evening. Does that ring a bell, Lynn? And according to them, they state that it's her and Bridges and some other, her team there, that the purpose is to plot and destroy, or has come up with a scheme to sue the city of Waukegan and to destroy Carrasco. Let me remind you that elected officials are not subject to selective bans just because I disagree with her. Engaging in both content-based and speaker-based restrictions is illegal. It's my First Amendment violation. I think
Thank
it's
you, Ms.
appalling she
Carrasco.
dedicates so much time to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, that concludes audience time.
All right, thank you, everybody, for your comments. Item 4. Item 4, consent agenda. Items under the consent agenda are considered routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. If any one board member wishes to have a separate vote on any item, it will be pulled from the consent agenda and voted on separately. With that being said, I will be reading the motions 4A through 4P. Motion to approve regular meeting minutes from Monday, June 16, 2025. Motion to approve special meeting minutes from Monday, June 30th, 2025. Motion to approve vendor payments dated July 7th, 2025, in a total amount of $4,019,340. I'm sorry, $4,019,340.83. 4D, motion to approve and ratify regular payroll dated June 27, 2025, in total amount of $2,190,286.97. 4E, motion to approve and ratify miscellaneous payroll in a total amount of $27,794.17. 4F, resolution authorizing expenditure of funds from the North Lakefront TIF number 7 for site studies for future development prospect 1831 North Pershing Road, an amount not to exceed $150,000 from 261-126-124-438. 4G, resolution approving the procurement of portable restroom trailer and portable individual bathroom units in amount not to exceed $70,000, line item 100-1062-24428 and 100-1062-24438. In accordance with Section 2-458I, parentheses 5, in the city's purchasing policy. Item 4H, resolution authorizing the approving amendment under 1 to the sublease agreement by the City of Waukegan and Signature Flight Support, LLC, with an annual cost of $30,594.84, with the funding from GL line 232-323224428. Items 4I, resolution authorizing approving and approving and purchase and installation of fire sprinkler system in an amount not to exceed $37,881 from Decker Fire Safety, Inc. for the dispatch center, funding from GL line 307-130-726-366. Item 4J, resolution authorizing approving the purchase and installation of fire alarm system in an amount not to exceed $18,981 from FS Technologies, LLC, for the dispatch center, funding from GO line 307-130-726-366. Items 4K, resolution accepting a grant from Illinois Housing Development Authority, IDA, Home Repair and Accessibility Program, Round 2, in amount of $360,000 in support of housing rehab program. Item 4L, resolution approving and authorizing the purchase of camera equipment for 10 Ford police vehicles from Exxon Enterprises, Inc. for the amount not to exceed $113,072.76. Item 4M, resolution approving and authorizing membership in the Northern Illinois Regional Crime Laboratory for an amount not to exceed $133,409. Funding for the payment will be taken from line item 100-608-524-436. Items 4N, ordinance enacting a special curfew for persons under 18 for Scoop, Waukegan. Items 4O, ordinance permitting alcoholic beverages and enacting additional regulations during the Scoop, Waukegan special event. Items 4P, resolution approving application from Inspire Youth and Family Services, Inc. to participate in the Summer Youth Program for an amount not to exceed $50,000.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner, second by Alderman Newsome. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsome.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donaldworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Motion passed, Mayor.
Motion's passed and carried. Item 5, reports and communications, City Treasurer, Dr. John R. Schwab. Doc?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm presenting the monthly treasurer's report. I put a copy each month at the seats of all the aldermen. The report lists all the funds the city has. The first column's cash, the next one's the investments, and the third column is the balance of those total. And at the bottom are the total amounts the city has at the time. A copy is available at the city clerk, Janet Kelly's office on the first floor. The treasury report is also on the city's website. If you have any questions, please call my office, 847-599-2569. That's 847-599-2569, or call my cell, 847-856-9154. That's 847-856-9154. I'm pleased to announce that the 2023-2024 audit is complete and will be presented on Monday, July 21st, at the Finance Committee. That's usually at 5 o'clock. That ends my report.
Thank you, Dr. Schwab, and congratulations on that audit. You and Juan. Awesome job on both teams. Items 6, 7, 8. There being none. Item number 9, alderperson's time.
Alderman Martinez.
Acting Clerk.
Alderman Martinez.
All right, thank you, Deputy Clerk and also Council. I'll be very brief here. First, I want to start with the Tiffany Drive Annual Neighborhood Rub and Sale. Will be held on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That'll be the July 25th, 26th, and the 27th. It is from 8 to 5. Over 10 families so far are participating. We invite the public to come on out and buy as much as you can. There will be more information forthcoming, but again, that's for the Tiffany Drive, and it is located actually on Tiffany Drive, right off of Brookside. And then also, I just want to give special thanks again to those who attended my Third Ward community meeting. It was very successful. Thank you to a few people. I want to make sure that they receive their accolades. I want to commend Adam Carson, who is the owner of Drip and Culture for Business of the Year in the Third Ward. And then we also have Maggie Powell, who is also a recipient for the People's Award in the Third Ward. They give out so much to the community. They're dedicated, they're committed, always available, and it's all volunteer. And if you know Maggie's journey, she is a cancer survivor of 24 years. So if you do see her, please congratulate her, and also make sure you solicit the Drip and Culture. They give so much back to the community. So, and I also want to thank Deanna Sweettooth for the wonderful treats, and also Jason from Jiffy Lube, who donated 3 free oil changes. These are all businesses. These are all people in the Third Ward. So I thank them for giving of their time and also giving excuse me, giving their time and also the certificates and all the other goodies that that was presented that day. Also, I just want to remind my constituents, actually the whole city, that please understand that your grass should not be more than 8 inches. It should be cut. If it is over 8 inches, then that constitutes a visit from code enforcement. Again, grass should not, if anything that's over 8 inches needs to be cut. So just keep that in mind. I also want to remind my constituents in the community that when you're also throwing mattresses away, you have to have them covered with plastic, otherwise they won't take them. I can't tell how many times I've driven around and had to actually remind the residents that these mattresses need to be covered, and that's the rules from LRS. So, briefly, I also want to talk about well, the fireworks. You know, again, the gentleman's absolutely right. They were out of control as expected. Again, that was across the whole United States, though. We weren't the only municipality or city that endured. I feel bad for those animals that couldn't get sleep, or also people who suffer from PST. But please, we have to do a better job. Maybe there's a solution that I hope we can come up with. Maybe we'll have something better in plan next year. And let this be a wake-up call that something needs to be done. I mean, we have an ordinance, and we're not going to go ahead and enact it. I don't know why we have an ordinance, but in any case, I received calls. I try to answer as many as I can, and I do understand that I had also asked the chief if we can get some more patrol. But again, this is something that, unfortunately, it happens. It is the 4th of July, so it's all over our country. So, also, I want to talk about the. Oh, I know what I'm talking about. The homeless, the homelessness that's happening. Well, there's been a low. There hasn't been too many people homeless. I don't want to jinx myself here, but. On Grand Avenue, there has been not too many people, homeless people, so whatever is working, I appreciate that. I think it's the hard work from the chief of police, installing cameras, and also having the shift change, and also the businesses that are not allowing these individuals come in and try to take over, solicit. But if you do go down Grand Avenue, you will see for yourself that it has subsided a whole lot. Now, it is still summer, it's still early, but I think that everyone needs to be commended for that. Again, you know, we have many resources here in town. We have Lakes Behavioral. You know, if you're homeless, I try to empower them to try to take advantage of that. But resources are out there. But I do want to say that the homeless has kind of subsided. It hasn't completely, it's not over completely, but we're definitely making ground on that. And I appreciate everyone's effort for that. I also want to talk about briefly about, actually I learned this tonight, there is going to be a substantial remodeling at the Hingston Park. I do have all the artists' rendering. There'll be more information forthcoming, but if anyone wants to pictures, I do have them. That is something exciting that we do need in Waukegan, Hingston Park. And for those who don't know, the Third Ward doesn't have a park, so that's something that we need to be working on. I know there's a 10-year plan with the Waukegan Park District, but to me that's too long to wait. So I like to see if we can get something going as far as getting a park there somewhere. So in any case, let me see if you need to get a hold of me. I can be reached at 847-390-2689. Before I go, I would also like to thank Pastor Overton for the invocation tonight. Thank you, sir, for that. So. Okay, one more thing. Oh, and some of the places that I visited, I did attend the Juneteenth parade. It was great, very well organized. Everyone behaved well, and then also I also attended the 4th of July parade. Very well attended. A lot of entries. But one thing I say that was lacking again, and I mentioned this earlier, is the simple fact that there wasn't too many Latino dance groups. There are a lot of Latinos participation in the parade. And I think it's because of what's going on in our city with the ICE that kind of put a damper into it. I would have loved to see more entries, especially the Latino base representing our city, but I noticed that there wasn't too many. And I think for sure that was the reason why. So just wanted to put that out there. That's all I have. I just ask my constituents, please be safe, be mindful, and moreover, let's all be great neighbors. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Felix.
Thank you. I do want to announce a few things, as I did from the last meeting, but formally, I just want to make sure that I give a good shout out to Envy Streetwear. They turned 1 year and celebrated 1 year of their 1 year anniversary 2 weeks ago. There's where they have fashion where they have select pieces that capture different eras and moments. So I definitely invite everyone to patronize this gem in our community. They're on 841 Grand Avenue, Waukegan, Illinois, and much success for them to continue on and with their business, and I wish much success for them. Also, I want to say thank you to the mayor. We gave the Proud Award to Miss Hilda. Mrs. Hilda, she lives in the 4th Ward. She turned 95 years old, and we got to say happy birthday to her. Mayor said wonderful things to Miss Hilda, and we gave her a Proud Award, and she was so happy. She mentioned that she never thought she would make it to that age, but she's happy that we were able to give her some attention and from the city side. So happy birthday to Miss Hilda. Juneteenth parade was a success. It was in the 4th Ward. I like what Brandon said. It's in the heart of the downtown or the city, and hopefully we can get more events to happen in the heart of the city, Genesee Street. And so the parade was a success. I think the festival was a success too. It was like they said, it was fun, safe, and at the next day I went to check. It was clean. So that's something that we like, to for people that are applying for these events, to show that this is a good example of what we can do in our downtown area. 4th of July was great as well. I had my blue suit. I was sweating really bad, but it was my 4th of July suit, so I have to do it every year. So I saw a lot of great people participating. I love seeing it. Yep, Juan is, Mr. Alderman Martinez is, right? We had less participation from a lot of Hispanic groups, but I want to say that, if you're able to, keep patronizing our community. Go out, purchase from our small businesses. We need it, and it helps us be more successful. Also do want to mention tomorrow, Tuesday, the American Place Casino will be hosting their Career Expo. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. One thing that I asked when they first opened up is that when they were looking to employ people, is that, do you guys have living wages for people? And they said yes. So definitely invite people to check out their job expo. They have different, they can work the tables and different restaurants that they have in there as well. So I've already went to join them. And that is it for me. I do have a lot of projects that I'm working on. Some of them are closer to the end, where I would be able to say what they are. But for the most part, people are reaching out to me. Please reach out with your concerns, and I see what I can do. Working with the new staff that we have, they have opened their arms to a lot of. At least for me, I go to visit Public Works, Building Department. They're open to us with our suggestions. So keep reaching out to us. And let's keep moving Waukegan forward.
Thank you. Alderman Newsom.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. I will be hosting my next Fifth Ward meeting. It will be July 24th, 5:30 to 7 p.m. It'll be here in the council chambers. We'll have some updates from staff, question and answer period, and I will be having some refreshments as well. I can be reached at edith.newsom@waukeganil.gov if you'd like to send me an email, or I can be reached at 847-390-2691. That number again is 847-390-2691. I'll also be getting the flyers out door to door, and I will be using social media as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Alderman Turner.
A couple of things I want to mention, and one of which is I keep going back to the level of attention and commentary and blather about the mass shooting that occurred in Highland Park, for one example, and we keep hearing about that even now. It's like 2 years later, right? But there was a mass shooting last Saturday, the 29th. There was a mass shooting in North Chicago, and we don't hear shit about that. Nothing. 5 people were shot down at the North Chicago beach. Not a mumbling word in the press, in the media, or in the city council. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody has any concern about it. But you get all in a blather and a lather about something that happened in a white community. And I am not one to call colorism, right? I don't focus on that. But the reality is the apparent distinction between the difference in how these two incidents were given the attention, it's apparent to me. So you had a shooting down in Highland Park. It's national news. You have a shooting in North Chicago, mass shooting. You got nothing. Folks, we got to do better. If we don't care about our own community, and we all know this, North Chicago and Waukegan are intertwined. It's one community. So many families are intermarried and intermingled. It's one big community. So if it happened in North Chicago, it's affected here. And I actually understand that the victims, the incident started in Waukegan. Several people have mentioned the fireworks on 4th of July. I was, very disappointed. There was a significant amount of those illegal fireworks in the 6th Ward again. Mr. Ephraim came and spoke about it over there on Ridgeland and North. I was out there, and one of the guys threw a bottle rocket or whatever it was, and he threw it into the intersection. It hit the power line, fell down in the intersection, and slid over about maybe 50 feet from my car, and before it went off. And then a woman came by. She stopped at the stop sign on North. And another one of those things, it had to have been less than 10 feet from her car when it exploded. I took pictures of the next day I took pictures of 3 trash cans and another pile of debris and trash that was collected from just one group of folks setting off those fireworks. They were doing it for hours and hours and hours. North and Ridgeland, Messina and Poplar and Franklin, down on Porter Street. And, we've got to come up with a plan. Chief, I came and I talked to you in the mirror. I had a plan, and we kind of worked it, but it didn't work. So we got to do better. And the thing is, and I had several people say to me, well, what's the big deal and why do you care? It's just noise. Well, the problem is, the obvious problem is, there's a potential for personal injury or death by those lighting them, or you could injure or kill someone else, or you could burn someone's property down. But you also have to consider this. Ephraim mentioned it. We have a lot of people. It's a common health condition is autism. You have a lot of autistic people here in Waukegan. We have a lot of veterans and others who have been traumatized by combat and other instances in their lives, violent instances, and they suffer from what's called PTSD. And then you have folks with schizophrenic. The new buzzword is mental health. And one of the things that the mental health that's problematic, that's so severe in our communities, is schizophrenia. All of that can be exacerbated by these explosive fireworks going off. So it's not a mere nothing. Thank you for that. In 6th Ward, I noticed people again are cutting your grass and putting it out in the street. Please don't. 2 reasons for that. One, I'm a biker or a motorcyclist, and you put that grass in the street, and a motorcycle is like riding on glass and oil. It's super slick. You can easily cause someone's injury or death. Also, that grass that you blow into the street, it gets, when the rain falls, it gets washed down into the storm sewer along with deteriorating gravel from our deteriorating streets, and it blocks those storm sewers. Then you have flooding in the streets and intersections and sometimes into your house. So don't blow the grass in the street. I do want to, I want to recognize, I just want to comment that I did observe one of our detectives. I observed several officers on a seatbelt detail, chief, over by Hinkson Park at Grand and Baldwin, I think it is. And Commander Aglianos was in charge of the detail. And as I approached, I noticed that the commander, and I'm gonna circle back to that, but the commander and several other officers were stopping traffic, but one guy, Detective Trenton Curry, you want to write his name down, sir. He took an old lady who was obviously mobility impaired. She couldn't hardly walk. And Detective Curry went and got that lady and just took his sweet time helping her across that busy, busy street. And it just struck me, two things struck me with that. The obvious that I mentioned about Detective Curry, but then with Commander Aglianos. And this applies to so many of our police officers that I observe. It's not just the guys in uniforms, but I see a lot of our white shirts. I see our sergeants out there, obviously, but I also see our commanders, deputy chiefs, and even the chief himself, numerous occasions out in the street, in the neighborhoods, responding to calls and serving our community. So I thank you for that and applaud you guys. Public Works. So with this Liz service line replacement project, the street resurfacing project, there are, they sometimes are redoing the driveway aprons. Sometimes they're damaging the parkways and lawns. There's a multi-phase process for these projects wherein they do one thing and then come back and do another. So you say, well, they finished this, but they didn't finish that. Well, that's because there's another team. There's a team that tears it out, and there's a team that puts it back. But if it's not the damage that they're doing, if it's not repaired in a timely fashion, or you're just concerned, call your alderman, call me, call Public Works, and say, hey, what's going on, when's it gonna happen, and we can make sure it gets done, right? But with that being said, I also want you to understand those are contractors doing their work. It's not the Public Works Department itself usually. Some of the street repairs, the smaller streets, are done by Public Works. Excuse me. But generally, with the Public Works Department, now, summertime is when all of those folks in Public Works are taking their vacations. They can't take vacation in the wintertime because if we have a snow event, blizzard or whatever, all hands on deck with Public Works. So please be patient. They're getting to everything that's on the list and everything that's being called in as quickly as they can. Finally, as always, if you have any observations, suggestions, or complaints in the 6th Ward, please call me, text me, email me, Facebook message me, any way it's convenient for you. My number is 847-445-3788, and I am on Facebook, Keith Turner, the guy who gets things done. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Donilworth.
Thank you. I want to thank all the city employees for their great work at these parades, the Juneteenth parade, the 4th of July parade, and then also, during these fireworks and stuff. I was out there. I had some numerous calls from people, and some of these people were using industrial fireworks. The stuff they were shooting up there was
definitely going higher than the ones at the lakefront that I saw, in area of Linden and over on Jackson. And I understand it. I worked for the police department for 30 years, and we've been out there and we have made arrests in the past, and they're trying to do what they can do. But you just get overwhelmed on these days, and you try to do what you can do. And we definitely have to come up with a little bit better plan to do something with these offenders, especially if somebody's out in an intersection for a long period of time, and hopefully somebody can get over there. Maybe we need to hire some people back, you know, just rehire them and get them out there to just take the fireworks. And I know they had that unit out there also. It's just one of those things, we just try to watch out for our neighbors and stuff. And where I live, it wasn't as bad as it was last year, but you know, they were still out there. And the fireworks display in Waukegan was beautiful again. And I hope we keep it up and continue that. And I didn't see any real problems down there, which was nice. And it made a nice getaway. And just, you know, like everyone's saying, just you got to make sure to be safe and, you know, keep your eyes open, especially if you've got some mortar coming down right beside your car, God forbid, you know, comes through your car door, goes under your car and explodes. You know, you definitely don't want that. And then also in the neighborhoods, these guys are still out there. They're driving down these streets in the middle of the night, stopping right in front of people's houses and walking up in their driveways. A couple weeks ago, I had someone do that, and luckily my neighbor caught him on a camera, but you couldn't identify anything other than people in a car. But we have returned our lights on and all that other stuff around, just try to brighten up the area in that area. And other people too, if you see something and they're walking up your driveway, please call the police. Hopefully they can grab them, because if they don't catch them at your house, they'll probably catch them up the street, because they're just driving and stopping and driving and stopping. So let's all be careful out there, and thank God nobody got injured throughout the fireworks this weekend that I know of. And thank you to the fire department out there doing your job and helping whoever needed help. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Florian.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. I want to address Mr. McLemore's concern about the PADS shelter. I believe Mr. Lindsay can back me up on this. The process is in place. They've applied for permits. They're expecting the shelter to be done sometime within this year, hopefully still by the end of the year, maybe early next year. But it is moving along. It doesn't look like a lot yet from the outside because it's still boarded up, and the Travelodge sign is still there, which annoys me, so I'm hoping they can get that down. But it is in the works. It is happening. It will eventually house, I think it's 100 families once it's finished. So, yeah, I believe so. Yeah. So, and then I want to talk, one of the things I spent my weekend doing was reading this book called The Death Gap. It's written by a doctor from Chicago, and he talks about the difference in average life expectancies and how different it is within very short distances sometimes. He says the main driver of the difference in whether you expect to live like to an average age in the U.S. now is 78 years. So the main difference between whether you might live to be that average age or you may die younger in your 60s, say, a lot of it has to do with your access to health care, and particularly for Black Americans. And there's been a lot of historical racial issues that have occurred throughout our country. He refers to it as structural racism. He talks about a concept called blockbusting, where they didn't allow certain people to buy houses in certain areas. It's even worse than redlining, which was also an issue. Tax policies that have redistributed wealth from the poor and middle class to the wealthy, which I think we just experienced again last week, but that's another story. Incarceration rates are much higher for Black Americans than other Americans. So anyway, one of the statistics he talks about is Black women are 40% more likely to die from breast cancer than white women, even though they develop breast cancer at the same exact rate. And the cause of this, he says, are beliefs, behavior, and biology as the wrong explanation for health and life expectancy differences, how long you will live, the differences. It's these other structural issues of whether, just being born in a certain area and not having access to health care. So this encouraged me to look up statistics for us. So Waukegan, the average life expectancy in Waukegan is 67.9. So just about 68 years, which is 10 years less than the national average. Now, you go down to Highland Park, which is not that far away, and they're right at 78.5, so right about the national average. But one of the really interesting things, if you look at North Chicago, which is just our neighbor, Mr. Turner just said how connected we are. It's only 64.1 in North Chicago. But just next door to North Chicago in Lake Bluff, 74, 10 years more of life just by being born in Lake Bluff versus being born in North Chicago. So anyway, the answer to this is universal health care. I'll spoil the ending for you. Countries that have universal health care do much better than countries that don't. I just thought it was important to talk about this. I know I talk about the hospital a lot. I talk about healthcare, and I talk about healthcare a lot. I talk about the hospital a lot. I am a healthcare provider, and I just thought it was important to share this information to give people some context around what it is that I'm learning and reading. So thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Florian. Alderman Bolton.
Thank you, Alderman Florian, for in making those indications. That's very interesting. I'm definitely recipient of a lot of that, and I'm here today because I do have access to good health care. So I first like to thank our clergy, Pastor Overton, for your time and dedication. And I also want to thank our church community for always allowing me to call on you to do our invocation for our city council. And then I want to give a big shout out to our staff. Our streets getting cleaned, our streets being repaved, addressing all kinds of problematic issues from cleaning up to answering crisis calls is not just because of us as aldermen, but because of you. Being able to call on our police, our fire, getting our streets clean, all that. And then also, in addition to that, I want to thank my constituents that constantly call me and work with me and keep me updated to what's going on. And, I have some calls that want to not only complain about the problem, but they want to be a solution. So we're working on Adopt a Road program, the Market Street area, and we have some other projects that are coming up. And if you have time, whether it's 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, give me a call at 224-607-8445, and it's on the website. And with that being said, we had a speed radar that was, as you can see, the south side, as you all say, south side, is, we're working on a lot of improvement. We've repaved McAllister, and we've put up a speed radar, trying to get individuals to slow down. Not with the one block, this radar has been ran over already. Now we're going to work on putting another one out, but I want to encourage you all, slow down. There's children out here, there's individuals walking. I've gotten my car hit 3 times just parking on the street, so I just want to encourage, slow down. And let's work together. You agree? So that's all I have. We just continue to work together. Thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you, Alderman Bolton.
Mayor? I apologize. Do you mind if I just address one thing in my ward? It was major. Downtown, so I got a video shared with me that there was an altercation downtown in front of a bar. As long as the video lasted, that's how long the altercation was. I mean, there was, the downtown is still safe. I spoke to our chief because it was an issue that people wanted to ask about. So there was no arrests. People didn't get injured. No one, so just want to make sure that our patrons that are going in our downtown feel safe there. And of course, they're drinking or whatnot. They're coming out of the bar. Some people will act a fool, but for the most part, our police is there to make sure that our patrons feel safe. And as much as the video looks pretty extreme, that's all it was, about a few seconds. And everyone had a good time. And I went Friday. It went well. Saturday there was more people, but our police is there. And soon, people think that people have not been notified. Our staff, our police have talked to the businesses as to what the changes we're making. But soon, as a request from patrons and also the businesses, we will have more of something, maybe an award meeting soon. We'll address what we're planning to do in our downtown area. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Alderman, for your comments. Obviously, these are educational and will help as we move through our Rebuild Waukegan. Item 10, Alderman, there is a closed executive session. I'm going to read the motion, then I'm going to read the motion, then I get a first and a second. Motion to go into closed session for the purpose of considering the appointment of legal counsel, 5 ILCS 120-2, parentheses C, parentheses 1, and to consider settlement of pending litigation, 5 ILCS 120-2, parentheses C, parentheses 11. Motion by Alderman Newsom.
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Bolton. Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donalworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Motion passed.
All right, meet everybody about 7 minutes, meet in the back. Gotta go to the little boys' rooms. All right, thank you.
Alderman Martinez. Martinez. Felix. Newsome.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donaldworth. Florian. Bolton. Motion passed to reconvene.
Turner.
Newsom.
Aye.